Along a rugged coastline where cliffs met rolling tides, a kelp forest swayed beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Long amber strands of giant kelp stretched upward from the rocky seafloor, their leaf-like blades fanning outward in slow, graceful arcs. Sunlight filtered down through clear water, scattering into shifting beams that turned the forest into a cathedral of gold and green. Floating gently on its back among the kelp fronds was a sea otter. Its fur was thick, thicker than that of almost any other animal, layered and soft, trapping tiny bubbles of air that kept it warm in cool ocean water. Its face was round and expressive, whiskers fanning outward as it breathed calmly. Small dark eyes blinked against the brightness above, then softened again into stillness. The sea otter was not alone. Around it, the kelp forest moved as one living canopy. Small fish darted between stalks. Sea stars clung to rocks below. Purple sea urchins rested among shadows, their spines catching light like quiet constellations on the ocean floor. The otter lifted one paw and gently wrapped a strand of kelp around its body. This simple motion anchored it against drifting currents. In the kelp forest, even rest was intentional. Optional gentle global phrases could drift through the water. Float softly, floater tranquillo, flotte doucement. Shizukani ukabu, parage gida. A small wave rolled overhead, and the kelp leaned with it. The otter leaned too, adjusting without effort. Movement here was shared, never resisted. After a moment, the otter dove, with smooth grace, it slipped beneath the surface, twisting through the vertical forest. Bubbles trailed behind, like silver beads. Down among the rocks, it searched carefully, turning stones with nimble paws. When it found a sea urchin, it rose again toward the light. Back at the surface, the otter placed the urchin on its chest, balanced carefully. Using a small rock, it kept tucked in a loose fold of fur under its forearm, a treasured tool. It tapped gently against the shell until it opened. The action was deliberate, steady, never hurried. Around the otter, the forest continued its quiet rhythm. Seabirds called faintly from distant cliffs. Waves brushed the shoreline in repeating sighs. The kelp fronds swayed back and forth, their long stems stretching toward the surface like living pillars. After feeding, the otter floated again, paws resting on its chest. It groomed its fur carefully, combing through each layer to maintain the air that kept it warm. Clean fur meant protection. Attention meant comfort. As afternoon light shifted, beams of gold turned softer, more amber. Shadows lengthened beneath the kelp canopy. The otter drifted lazily through a corridor of fronds, occasionally brushing a leaf with curiosity. Below, schools of fish shimmered in coordinated patterns. Above, the sky reflected in wavering fragments across the water's surface. The boundary between air and sea felt gentle here, almost invisible. When evening approached, the kelp forest grew quieter. The otter wrapped itself once more in a strand of kelp, anchoring securely for rest. Its breathing slowed. The tide continued to rise and fall, but the otter remained cradled within the swaying forest. In this underwater woodland, balance depended on many lives working quietly together, kelp reaching toward light, urchins grazing below, otters keeping the forest healthy through their steady care. And as the sun slipped lower beyond the horizon, the sea otter floated peacefully, held by the living forest beneath the waves.